Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Monday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, I've been trying to calm down and relax and trying to think how I'm going to talk about today's subject uh, and talk about it intelligently and honestly and not say things that I'll regret. I know in the last month there's one or two videos. If you watch my channel, there's one or two videos that the next day I came out and I said, look, I'm kind of embarrassed what I said yesterday, and I said from now on I'm going to try to approach when I feel this angry, when I feel this upset about a subject, I'm going to try to approach it more calmly and intelligently. I've said that in the last once or twice in the last month, so that's what I'm trying to do here. I came across an article today, and it made me so. It's one of those mornings where I swear to God, I am so angry. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, and my hands are starting to shake a little bit because I got so angry thinking about this over the last hour and a half. This article that I want to talk about. Okay, this has to do with CANDACE Owens. If you don't know who CANDACE Owens is, if you know anything about politics, she's 34 years old. She's a political commentator on the Daily Wire, I think it is. She's a Trump supporter, very conservative African-American woman. She's 34 years old. I looked this up. She graduated from Stanford, Connecticut High School because what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about a clip. The clip's going to be right down below. And I watched this clip. And this clip is so offensive that I had to look to see where CANDACE Owens graduated, because she talks about graduating high school in this clip. And she actually graduated in Stamford, Connecticut, which kind of surprised me because the way she speaks so ignorantly. The only thing I can believe from this is that she's being disingenuous. I don't think she's that. I think she's at least educated enough that she's not being honest about what she's saying here. Okay, let me describe this clip to you, because this clip got me fired up this morning. And my first instinct was to respond in kind to what she said. And I'm glad that I've thought it out a little bit, and I'm not going to do that. Okay, let me describe the clip to you. The clip's right down below. A young woman stands up. She's probably about in her late teens or early 20s. And they're talking about transgender people. And this young lady stands up and she asks Candace Owens on the stage, and she asks her a question. She talks, the girl in the audience talks about Native Americans and their history of talking about the legend of the Two-Spirit people. And I'm sure you've heard about this. I've heard about this going back hundreds of years, Native American history. That in Native American culture, some people were thought to have two spirits, male and female, or transgender, basically. This goes back hundreds of years. This was accepted in Native American culture. It's a known thing. I know about this. I didn't learn it in high school, but it's a common fact that this Native American and Two-Spirit people. So this girl, or this young lady, stands up in the audience, and she asks Candace Owens, well, how do you justify this? How do you explain this? Because Candace Owens is trying to say that because of, here we go, the media. Remember yesterday's video I talked about the media. The media is us. The media isn't some deep dark entity that's pushing things on people, the deep state. It's us. It's selling us what we want. It's selling to us what we are buying. Like I said yesterday, it's conservative media, there's right-wing media, there's left-wing media, there's celebrity media, there's gossip media, and they sell what people are buying. They wouldn't be selling this if people weren't buying it, if people weren't interested in it. Okay? And Candace Owens is basically saying that this whole the whole situation with transgender people is it's a new thing. That it's because of left-wing permissiveness or the story hour, the drag story hour thing, or something like that. This is all new. She actually says this in this clip. She says, that this was in her high school, there was 0 trans people, and now it's like 20% or 25%, she says. Now, I'm going to talk about that more. But this is the truly incredibly offensive thing. Candace Owens gets visibly angry about this, because she says, well, she denies the whole two-spirit thing. She says she never heard of it. She says, well, is this a fact? So this is why I looked up where did Candace Owens go to high school? Because I can't believe she sounds like an intelligent woman, and I can't believe she doesn't know this. And I think she's being deliberately disingenuous because she's kind of making fun of it. She's saying, I never heard of this Native American thing, but then this is the offensive part, and I thought about this long and hard. Because I want to tell you what she said about Native Americans. She denigrated an entire race of people because it doesn't fit her narrative. She says, I don't know if I would believe anything about Native American people, because when you talk about Native Americans talking about their spirits, well, they were sitting around doing this, like peyote and for religious experiences, but she says in a very offensive, derogatory way. And then she says something that I can't even repeat about what she thinks Native Americans did to each other or what they ate. Okay, and I'm not even going to say the word here. So she denigrates the entire race of Native American people, which I am part Native American. Okay, and, because it doesn't fit her narrative. And you can see she gets visibly angry. She says, well, I never heard of this. This isn't a fact. Who says this? And the girl says, it's common knowledge. I'm saying it. And then she kind of makes fun of the girl. And then the girl actually calls Candace Owens, well, if you'd educate yourself and you wouldn't be so ignorant. And she just, bam, she slams Candace Owens, and the whole audience goes, whoa. And I think that's well deserved. Because, like I said, it's common knowledge. If you Google this, you'll see it. It's common knowledge. The Native American people and their idea, their explanation of the two-spirit or trans people in their nations, in their tribes, have been around for hundreds of years. But it goes against Candace Owens because in her mind, it's a fad. She thinks back in 2007 when she graduated high school, there was no trans people. And now there's a bunch. There's 20, she says 25% of people are trans, which is nowhere near the case. If you look it up, about 1 or 2%, they're the LGBTQ community, from the numbers I found. The LGBTQ community is about maybe 8% of people in the United States. And out of that, maybe 1 or 2% are trans. So it's nowhere near 25%. So she's using the fear mongering, the scare tactic. Oh my God, what they're doing to kids today, it's this new fad where they're telling them they could switch, they could become this and turn into that, and no. And so the first instinct I got was to hit back. She's African American. And my history of using and that, I was tempted to say some things that I wouldn't be very proud of, but I'm not, that would be wrong. And I'm not going to say that. I'm going to approach this in an intelligent fashion. I think she's intentionally, because I can't believe she's really this ignorant, that she really thinks that this is just the fad. Going back to high school, when I was in high school in 1984, okay, nobody in my high school said they were gay. There was nobody came out in high school out of the 400 kids in my class. I think there was like 400 kids in my graduating class. I believe that's what it was. Not one person said they were gay. Were there gay people? Of course there were gay people. Of course, back then we knew, this person's gay, that person's gay, but none of them would say they're gay. Now it's not like that. And it's the same thing with trans people. These people, since the day they were born, for biological reasons, are just attracted to or feel like different from the rest of heterosexual people. This starts when they are born. It's not a fad. And the reason for this is if you go back to the 1800s, how many people would say they're gay? Because it wasn't socially acceptable. It's not the deep, dark media that's influencing people to become this. Society has become more tolerant and understanding and accepting of different people. They're not as conformist. I use that word again. And that's the whole thing. Like I said, I don't understand why Republicans and the whole MAGA crowd they're such conformists. Anybody that goes out of line, it's just something scary to them. It's a challenge to their beliefs. They will not accept that other people are different from them. And it must be something scary. It must be a trend or something being done on purpose. I remember going to New York City. So I was trying to remember, back when I was young in high school, or just out of high school. I remember going down to New York City, and I was involved in some illicit activities down in New York City, and I would go down there often. I went down to the St. Patrick's. I remember the St. Patrick's Day Parade, 1993. I was 25 in 1991. I was 21 years old, and I remember a whole group of trans people in the parade, or they wanted to be in the parade. Young high school age trans people. I remember in Manhattan, and this is why I looked up where Candace Owens went to high school, because at first I was like, if she's really, does she really believe this? Where did she go to high school? Like Podunk, Nebraska, or what? And then I see she actually went to high school here in Connecticut, so right near Manhattan. And like I said, I remember all the times going to Manhattan in the late 90s, the late 80s, the early 90s, and seeing young trans people, the LGBTQ community all over the place. I've talked about this before. I remember going down to like adult premises, stores like in Times Square that were down there at the time. And I remember telling you I did a video where I went upstairs. Me and my girlfriend went to visit some of these businesses in Times Square. And I went upstairs to see the performers. There was like about maybe 15 women upstairs. And you go in a booth and put $1 in. This was our thing when I was dating this girl back when I was in my early 20s. And she was downstairs looking at different devices and whatnot. And I went upstairs. And I went in a booth. And I put the $1 in, and the window between us went up, and the young lady, probably my age, in her late 20s or maybe even late teens, maybe 19, 20, 21, is dancing on the other side of the window. And garments come off, and lo and behold, these are all trans people. These are all trans performers. They have everything. They have the top. You know what I'm saying? They look like women, but they have male parts. And I went back downstairs, and I got my girlfriend, and I brought her upstairs, and I was like, aren't these women beautiful? I kind of tricked her. I kind of played with her a little bit. And she's like, yeah, they're amazing. You're beautiful, So I took her in a booth. I said, well, guess what? They're not really all women. And she's like, no. She wouldn't believe me. She didn't believe me. And we went in the booth. And the funny thing is, I talked about this in a video before, the women were kind of flirting with me. And when I brought my girlfriend up after, they were just shooting her dirty looks, man. Like she didn't stay up there for too long. But yeah, this is why I can't believe Candace Owens is being, I don't believe she's being serious. She's being intelligent. She has to understand that this human nature, this thing with biology, this whole situation with LGBTQ people, it's been around forever. It's human nature. It's just another dimension of human nature. Not everybody is conformist. Not everybody is the same. And the reason it seems more prevalent now to her is because people are more tolerant and accepting of that. And this is why the MAGA bunch, the conservative bunch, want them to go back, hidden away. So it doesn't challenge, it doesn't scare them, it doesn't challenge their conformity. Just as long as it's not in my face, I like they always say, I got gay friends, I just, I don't understand why they need a Pride Month. They should just, what they do in their bedroom. In other words, they don't want to see it. They want the people, they basically want the LGBTQ community to be scared and go back and just look like everybody else. But, what they do, they don't talk about it. They just hide, because it makes them feel uncomfortable. It makes them question their sexuality. They don't feel comfortable. Their whole conformist world crumbles, and it scares them. It scares their. If it challenges your ideas to that extent, you're going to have to ask yourself: Are the ideas, are the the things that the ideas you're living by, are they that solid if you get scared about how other people are living their lives? You know, just some thoughts today. All right, let me know what you think. I hope this video doesn't get yellow lighted. Like I said, I was so tempted to come on here and just hit back at Candace Owens for what she says about Native Americans in this clip. Let me know what you think. Watch the clip down below, because I can't repeat what she said. And it's just, like I said, she denigrates an entire race of people. And you can see she's visibly angry because she knows her perceptions are crumbling. There's no validity to her statements, and it makes her angry. Thus, she denigrates this entire race of people who have really nothing to do with the whole conversation, really, about the LGBTQ community. But because it shows that it goes against what she believes, she denigrates the entire race. Let me know what you think. Have a good Monday.